Your energy systems feel broken, but your labs look normal. For years, chronic fatigue was blamed on psychology or deconditioning, but modern research shows something completely different. The energy failure is a response, not a defect. It's your body protecting itself under stress. And when we look at the hidden pieces and how they actually connect, the crash pattern finally makes more sense. I'm Dr. Kenny, root cause health detective and IFM certified functional medicine practitioner, and after 8 years in practice, I map out exactly these communication breakdowns. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly how immune signaling, mitochondria, and recovery pathways intertwine, and why understanding those connections change everything about chronic fatigue support. If this resonates with you, share it or tap the like button. Help others to stop guessing and start investigating chronic fatigue differently. The frustration with chronic fatigue is real, becoming exhausted after small activities that you used to be able to do with no problem, and yet your blood work looks normal. But that's not what your body is telling you, and that's not the reality. Now, chronic fatigue syndrome goes by another name, and that is myalgic encephalomyelitis. So you'll see it as CFS or ME. It's not psychological like it used to be written off as. Your immune system is stuck in overwhelm, your cells aren't producing energy, your nervous system is dysregulated. All of that is happening at the same time, and it presents itself as chronic fatigue syndrome. Here's what got confusing around chronic fatigue. For a long time, doctors thought fatigue was caused by deconditioning. That means your muscles get weak because you're not exercising or using them as much. So the treatment was originally exercise to push through it. And we've all heard that in different areas of our lives. But what happened is that when patients followed that advice, they got worse, not better. Much worse oftentimes. And they crashed harder or their symptoms spiraled. In 2021, a major guideline change in the UK changed the course of chronic fatigue syndrome. Research shows that exercise as a treatment is no longer recommended. In fact, it can make things worse. And this matters because a major theme was teased out that deserves some attention, and that's what's called post-exertional malaise, or PEM. This is a defining feature of CFS in many ways that can help to unlock healing. Here's what PEM looks like typically. You do something. It could be a walk, or maybe you go to work on your computer for some time, or have a particularly emotional conversation with someone. In the moment, everything feels okay, but then 12 to even 48 hours later, sometimes longer, you crash hard. Symptoms explode, the brain fog gets even thicker, the muscles start to ache, and you get wiped out for days or longer at a time. Obviously, something doesn't look right here. The crash is technically way bigger than the activity demand. You may have only walked for 20 minutes, but you feel like you ran a marathon, and that's not normal tiredness. That's your body sending a signal about the systems underneath. And I think one of the loneliest pieces of ME is that people on the outside, including some practitioners, look at it like just a fear of exercise or worst, laziness. But no, it's your body protecting itself. Your nervous system, for whatever your particular reasons, is saying that we've reached our limit and we need to shut down and recover. For decades, the health community has missed the point entirely. And PEM has helped to change the line of questioning, because when we shift our focus from strict conventional lab findings that may look normal to actually listening to what the patients are experiencing, the old evidence falls apart. When we think of you as a whole integrated human being, this is your systems saying that the activity cost more energy than we could afford to spend. The old approach, and this may echo other areas in our conventional paradigm, said you need to push through, you need to get stronger. But the new approach very much says listen to what your body is telling you, measure it where possible, and adjust accordingly. And this becomes the difference between recovery being possible and getting worse. The current science is starting to tease out more details, and here's the 3 systems that are going offline underneath ME. The first system is around immune overload. The immune system gets activated by something. It could be a past infection being reactivated. It could be a current viral infection, something like Epstein-Barr or COVID-19 is another trigger. Toxins from your environment or inflammation overload, all of these are sending signals to the immune system to be in red alert. This immune activation sends a signal to the body that it doesn't want to waste energy on recovery. It needs to defend and protect. This affects a lot of systems, but especially your mitochondria, the little powerhouses of the cells that create our actual energy at the cellular level. So that's the first system, is around immune resilience. The second system is your stress system burnout. Your stress system, also called the HPA axis, gets stuck in overdrive. This system coordinates our stress resilience and immune tolerance at large. And chronic exposure to stress chemistry signals from cortisol and other stress hormones sends signals to your mitochondria as well to power down, just like it did with the immune system overload signals. And research shows that this is real. It's definitely not in your head. Your cells are genuinely struggling to create energy. Both of these first two systems are sending signals that your body never gets to truly repair itself, and recovery stops. And the third system that's then affected is low nutrient status. Because of the increased demands for nutrient supply, for repair, and for energy, your body needs specific vitamins to make energy. And these situations of immune overload and stress overload can burn through those stores very quickly. The B vitamins, CoQ10, carnitine, magnesium, these are a few of the most important ones. When they're low or there's roadblocks that occur in the chemistry, your mitochondria can't do their job and they get another signal of not feeling safe to recover. And something very important to note here is that these systems are deeply interconnected. For instance, when the immune system is on overload, this creates more stress on the systems at large and can even damage mitochondria. Then you have even less energy production. And also the immune system can't regulate itself properly, so there's more activation, which creates more inflammation, and it becomes a vicious cycle. And what's also emerging from recent research is that your immune cells, the cells that are supposed to protect you, are consuming way more energy than they should in chronic fatigue syndrome. Some studies looked at oxidative stress, which is the aging process that takes place in our cells, very similar to the browning of an apple that takes place when it's left out in the open air. But the research shows that this oxidative stress in your immune cells correlates with how severe the fatigue often is. This further shows the relationship between the immune system burning up energy stores and your mitochondria not being able to keep up with the demand. And by the way, if you want to look at some of these studies, I've pulled together some of the articles that I used for this video into a free research summary. It's easy to digest and has a few great takeaways. If you'd like to check that out, it's in the pinned comment in the description below. And there's one more layer to consider with CFS, and that is autonomic dysfunction. Your autonomic nervous system controls everything that we don't have conscious control over. Your heart rate, your blood flow, your digestion. And in ME or CFS, this system gets dysregulated. For example, your blood vessels may not adjust efficiently when you change positions, or your heart rate doesn't respond the right way either. Ultimately, these blood flow dynamics can shift and your tissues don't get enough oxygen. Oxygen is a primary fuel source for your mitochondria to also create energy. So here we are with another layer of an energy crisis. So the big takeaway when we look at these three systems, plus the autonomic dysfunction, is that the goal in addressing CFS isn't treating it like one broken thing. And that's the functional medicine approach. Instead of focusing on the diagnosis, we're looking at what's going on underneath in the systems. What does your body need more or less of to unblock those areas? No longer is graded exposure therapy or graded exercise recommended. Instead, we need to shift focus into energy management and what's called pacing, staying within your energy limits and working on the sleep quality, the stress reduction, and not just perceived emotional stress, but also stress chemistry at large, and then autonomic nervous system support. And realize that guidelines don't change unless the evidence is overwhelming. Unfortunately, it takes too long sometimes for the evidence to catch up. So if you've been told to just push through, If you've felt dismissed about the details that you're experiencing, then you were definitely right and your body was telling you the truth. Before we move on to talk about pacing, if this systems-based root cause approach resonates with you, please subscribe below. Every week I break down different concepts to help solve complex health issues and start asking deeper questions about the root causes underneath. So here's what support looks like, just the basics in practice. First is pacing with a plan. Slowing down in a world that encourages speeding up at all costs can feel like a salmon swimming upstream for sure. But it is the long game and the tortoise and the hare approach to overcoming chronic fatigue. Think of your energy capacity as this budget that you have to spend, and ideally you can increase that budget over time. But it's important to pace, to slow down intentionally, and also to track along the way. Watch what happens. Keep a work log or a thinking log or an emotional experience log, and then watch what happens over the next 24 to even 72 hours. It's all too easy with chronic fatigue to think that you're feeling better, do a little too much, and then the next day crash again. And it's a cycle of sometimes guilt or shame that comes up, but it's not a failure. It is information, and the more data-driven that we can be, the more we can understand energy capacity. Pacing is all about building a signal of stability and safety to allow the systems to heal. Next is supporting the nervous system. Because of that autonomic dysregulation, this becomes a very important signal of safety. Sleep is a foundational area for this, and I don't just mean the hours, I also mean the quality, the consistency, the wake timing. Third is to consider advanced testing. This is where functional medicine gets practical with some data-driven results as well. These tests aren't designed to diagnose ME or CFS, but to see which systems may be dysregulated in your body underneath. Organic acids testing is one of my favorites to gain insight into mitochondrial function or roadblocks. Can be a direct translation into energy capacity. And advanced functional stool testing or microbiome analysis can give insight into how much immune system or inflammation overload might be stemming from the gut, which is a pretty common area for this system to be overloaded. And advanced hormone panels, especially those that include a 6-point cortisol rhythm test, can show a lot about immune and energy resilience. One patient may show roadblocks from mold detoxification that are causing the mitochondrial roadblocks. Another might have severe gut issues that are driving inflammation. This is what a root cause approach is all about, because even though two people may be expressing the same condition, the root causes can be so different underneath. And that's the detective work that functional medicine is all about. Now, before we move on to the fourth point, if this systems-based thinking is landing well with you and you'd like more data or advanced functional labs to guide your care, I offer free health mystery map calls to potential patients in Texas, California, and Florida. If that interests you, there's a link in the description below. Now, the last piece is around targeted support. When you have your objective lab data or similar, you can start to think very strategically about nutritional support. CoQ10, carnitine, the B vitamins, those will work in one person more so. If there's gut issues going on, we might need to immune modulate or address imbalances in the microbiome. But the goal is not to take random supplements matched to the chronic fatigue. It's to use your chemistry, your objective lab data to come up with what your systems are actually asking for. Everything that we have gone over today is based in the research, and we still don't have all the answers, but functional medicine starts to ask different questions about why. One of the whys and one of the biggest disruptors of cellular energy that I see in my practice doesn't come from inside your body, and it can quietly sabotage your mitochondria for years before anyone even detects it. Most doctors and conventional labs completely miss it. If you're curious about this mitochondrial energy roadblock, check out this next video that deep dives into it. I'm Dr. Kenny, Root Cause Health Detective. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.